domnule rector, stimați invitați, onorată asistență, dragi colegi.
Esteemed rector, honored guests, distinguished audience, dear colleagues.
Este deja o tradiție ca la sfârșit de noiembrie, Universitatea de Științele Vieții, Regele Mihai I din Timișoara, să ofere studenților, masteranților și tinerilor cercetători posibilitatea să-și prezinte rezultatele cercetărilor lor. Simpozionul științific internațional, Young People in Multidisciplinary Research in Applied Life Sciences, este un eveniment care celebrează pasiunea pentru cunoaștere, schimbul de idei și colaborarea academică.
It has become a tradition that at the end of November, the University of Life Sciences, King Mihai I in Timișoara, offers students, master students, and young researchers the opportunity to present their research findings. The International Scientific Symposium, Young People and Multidisciplinary Research in Applied Life Sciences, is an event that celebrates the passion for knowledge, the exchange of ideas, and academic collaboration.
Acest simpozion reprezintă, pentru noi studenții și nu numai, o oportunitate extraordinară de a ne pune în valoare munca, creativitatea și perseverența într-un mediu care încurajează inovația și gândirea critică. Trăim într-o perioadă a schimbărilor accelerate, iar rolul nostru, ca tineri cercetători, este acela de a identifica provocările emergente și de a propune soluții inovatoare.
This symposium represents, for us students and beyond, an extraordinary opportunity to showcase our work, creativity, and perseverance in an environment that encourages innovation and critical thinking. We live in a period of rapid changes, and our role as young researchers is to identify emerging challenges and propose innovative solutions.
De aceea, participarea la astfel de evenimente este esențială pentru dezvoltarea noastră academică și personală. Prin prezentările și discuțiile pe care le vom purta astăzi, vom putea explora noi perspective, critica argumente și consolida o viziune mai amplă asupra domeniilor noastre de interes.
Therefore, participation in such events is essential for our academic and personal development. Through the presentations and discussions we will engage in today, we will be able to explore new perspectives, critic arguments, and consolidate a broader vision of our fields of interest.
Pentru început, îl invităm pe domnul profesor universitar dr. Alin Popescu, rectorul universității noastre, să ne adreseze mesajul de bun venit al domniei sale.
To begin, we invite Professor Dr. Alin Popescu, rector of our university, to deliver his welcoming message.
Bună ziua, doamnelor și domnilor! În primul rând, voi transmite câteva cuvinte în limba română și, de asemenea, mă voi adresa celor care sunt împreună cu noi, fizic aici și în mediul online, în limba engleză, dar vreau să transmit un bun venit celor care sunt prezenți la acest simpozion al tinerilor cercetători, tinerilor profesori, a celor care cred în educație, pentru că avem un crez comun și este foarte important în ce crez în viață. Noi, cei care suntem prezenți aici, fizic și online, credem că educația poate să schimbe viitorul unui om. Educația a schimbat viitorul meu, educația a schimbat viitorul dumneavoastră. Indiferent de mediile din care venim, că sunt medii favorizate sau mai puțin favorizate, vreau să vă spun că educația poate să facă diferența. Mă adresez unei generații de tineri pe care îi văd aici și care înțeleg ceea ce spun în limba română. Mă adresez profesorilor și prietenilor și colegilor mei care sunt aici și vreau să vă mulțumesc pentru că încă mai credeți în puterea educației și faptul că am hotărât și hotărâm să formăm tineri, să formăm generații, să formăm oameni, eu cred că este un atu important și cred că este un lucru meritoriu, este un lucru nobil și este foarte important să arătăm că credem în acest lucru. Este o valoare în care universitatea noastră crede. Credem în cercetare, am investit și investim în cercetare, în inovație, am investit și investim în internaționalizare, pe lângă educație. Vreau să vă mulțumesc frumos, domnule prorector, dumneavoastră și echipei de prodecani și facultăților noastre, cele 6 facultăți din universitate, pentru faptul că și de data aceasta a făcut posibil un eveniment care adună zeci de țări, zeci de universități, și dezbate subiecte interesante, nu doar de dragul de a vorbi, nu doar de dragul de a fi plecați de acasă, ci pentru a socializa, pentru a vedea că nu suntem cumva izolați într-un crez nobil, cel în educație, în cercetare și de cel în internaționalizare. Pentru că vorbim de internaționalizare, vreau să vă spun că în această dimineață, în Aula Magna Universității de Științele Vieții, Regele Mihai I din Timișoara, sunt prezente câteva țări, nu o să le enumăr pentru că, cu siguranță, dacă aveți posibilitatea și mă transmite domnul prorector Calman discret, că va face dumneavoastră acest lucru și apreciez acest aspect, dar vreau să vă spun că, pe lângă parteneriatele pornite cu personalități prezente în Aula Magna, în țări din Europa, Africa, Asia, prezente astăzi aici, intenția noastră este să punem bazele unui parteneriat bazat pe cercetare, pe inovație și educație cu o altă țară prietenă a universității noastre, așa cum sunt și celelalte țări prezente aici, prietene cu țara noastră în istorie, este vorba de Etiopia și am plăcerea să-l avem alături de noi pe domnul ambasador, pe excelența sa, domnul ambasador Țecheva, dacă am pronunțat bine numele și dacă nu-mi cer scuze, atunci când te cheamă Popescu, toate lucrurile ți se par simple ca și nume, dar în alte condiții vezi lucrurile diferit. De asemenea, este aici o delegație din Etiopia și salut prezența consulului Santurion în aula universității noastre și a domnului consul Etiopiei în România, domnului Zaharia, împreună cu o delegație prezentă aici. Și astăzi, cumva, 21 noiembrie 2024, universitatea noastră, pe lângă celelalte parteneriate pe care le avem cu universități și țări din Africa, Asia, Europa, Statele Unite și nu numai, punem bazele unui parteneriat concret și o să vin cu detalii în sensul acesta. Cei care mă cunoașteți, știu că v-ați obișnuit să vin cu detalii pe marginea subiectelor deschise. Am prieteni care vor fi aici pe podium, oameni care au susținut și susțin universitatea. Spun un bun venit și prietenului Bogdan Popovici prezent aici în Aula Magna și cu interes o să vreau să audiez ceea ce va expune dumnealui și în această dimineață. Așadar, felicitări pentru eveniment, mulțumesc decanilor facultăților noastre, mulțumesc prodecanilor, mulțumesc tinerilor implicați, mulțumesc dascălilor, colegilor mei care s-au implicat în acest eveniment, deținută pentru universitate. Face parte dintr-o pleiadă de evenimente, acum când universitatea noastră este la vârsta de 80 de ani. Acum când universitatea noastră se apropie de ceea ce înseamnă 8 decenii de existență. Este cumva un semn de respect și pentru cei care au fost înaintea noastră și cumva o responsabilitate pentru ceea ce vine după noi. După noi nu vine potopul, după noi vin alți tineri, cum am venit și noi după alții, și acest lucru va trebui să ne responsabilizeze. Despre responsabilitate o să discutăm și cu altă ocazie. Așadar, dragi studenți, dragi dascăli, profesori, cercetători, dragi prieteni, vă mulțumesc frumos că ați făcut posibil să se întâmple și evenimentul de anul acesta, ca în fiecare an, și respectă rigurozitatea academică a ceea ce are loc în universitatea noastră și o să susțin astfel de evenimente atât timp cât o să am ocazie. Vă mulțumesc frumos și vă felicit! Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I want to try to express in English what I spoke regarding this event this morning in our University of Life Science Medical First from Timișoara. And I want to congratulate the team of Mr. Vice Rector for Research, Innovation and Technological Transfer, Professor Calman. At the same time, I want to congratulate the Vice Dean of the 6th Faculty from our university and all the team, our team teachers and students and volunteers which are involved in this very good event. in each year, our university, later in the autumn, organized a good event for young researchers and young teachers, not only from Romania, from abroad of the world. I know very well the topics. I like very much, and you are here not only because you don't have other action today, other acts you have many times, but I know you are here for socialize. You are here for open new relationship, and you are here because our belief is the same. I believe in education. In the first, I believe in God, but I believe in education. Because for one simple man like me, and maybe like a big part of here, but not only for the simple man, simple woman, girl or boy, the education will make the difference. The education can make the difference. Our university invests not only money, the energy and time. You invest how you have a good in education for our students, because it's very important to grow in this country the educated people. For us it's important at the same time internationalization and innovation and research. In our university now, I have the opportunity to say welcome to our friends which coming from many countries, from the Europe, from Africa, from Asia, from United States, and at the same time many friends from other universities from Romania. It's important to be a great team which working in the for same target, for same direction. It's a good opportunity for me for open today a new direction for our country, for our region, for Romania, together with His Excellency, Ambassador of Ethiopia, Mr. Tsegeba. He is here with a very nice team, and at the same time with two good friends of our university, Mr. Consul Sanguion and Mr. Consul Zaharia. I want to say hello, also in English, Bogdan, for one good friends of our university. I invite for tell some experience, one very good subject for you, young people, this morning in our university. Welcome again in our university, Bogdan. In the same time, it's a big pleasure for me to be together in our Aula Magna in our university. The very good friends from Egypt. Welcome again in our university, but not only from Egypt, from Nigeria, Zambia, and other main universities. And please, Mr. Vice Rector, if you have all the list with presence of our friends, friends of our university, because it's very important to say welcome for you, because you spend your good time in our university. It's important, and I think the hope is not lost, because I have the possibility, I have the honor, very late to sit here together, but not only here on site, also online, many young people, because you are the future, with the same things, with the same feeling, with the same soul, in the good direction for education, for research. Thank you very much for your presence here. I wish you a very good discussion, and I hope you will feel good in our university and in our city. Thank you very much.
Vă mulțumim, domnule rector.
Thank you, Rector.
În continuare, îi dăm cuvântul domnului profesor universitar dr. Alin Cosmin, prorectorul universității noastre, responsabil cu cercetarea, inovarea și transferul tehnologic, Pentru deschiderea oficială a simpozionului.
Next, we give the floor to Professor Dr. Kalman Ine, Vice-Rector of our University, responsible for research, innovation, and technology transfer for the official opening of the symposium.
Dear Mr. Rector, invited special guest, distinguished young scientists and students. First of all, on behalf of the organizing committee and on my own behalf, I would like to extend our warmest welcome and good wishes to the 9th edition of the Young People and Multidisciplinary Research in Applied Life Sciences 2024 International Scientific Symposium, dedicated for students, masters, PhD students, and young scientists. Here, at the University of Life Sciences, King Michael I from Timișoara, the recent European capital of the culture. I'm delighted and extremely grateful to see the significant interest of the local, national, and international young scientific community directed towards our traditional event in year as well. The symposium has attracted a total of 286 participants from 15 countries, including Algeria, Azerbaijan, Croatia, Hungary, Indonesia, Italy, Kenya, Nigeria, Poland, Republic of Moldova, Serbia, Slovakia, Tajikistan, and Turkey, whom I would like to greet in their native language, Ahlan Vasahlan, Sos Germisiniz, Dobro nam došli, Ištem huzut benneteket, Selamat datang, Benvenuto, Karibu, Barca da Zuba, Vitame, Bine ați venit, Vitajte, Huș omade, and Hoș gărdin. My welcome greetings also go to the members of the Erasmus Plus International Cooperation Staff Week and for a group of the students from the United Kingdom. And I thank them for their interest in our scientific manifestation. We will hear 89 presentations and have the opportunity to see about 295 posters. The objective of the event is to create a stimulating framework for the presentation of research results, interaction, exchange of ideas and experiences between participants in the multidisciplinary field of life sciences, including new trends in the European agriculture development, bioengineering and animal breeding, management of sustainable rural development, horticulture, landscaping, genetics and forestry, food chemistry, engineering and technology, as well as animal breeding, pathology and veterinary public health. During the scientific manifestation, the participants, as leaders of the new generation and models for the society, will have the opportunity to update their knowledge and create new collaboration and networking. The challenges made by the symposium are significant, but I am confident that you will succeed in your objectives and the event will offer its participants high scientific impact lecture, knowledge exchange, and memorable personal experiences. From this moment, I officially declare the symposium open, wishing you a very pleasant stay at our university and in Timișoara, and a productive and successful scientific meeting. Good luck and thank you again.
Vă mulțumim, domnule prorector.
Thank you, Vice Rector.
Suntem deosebit de onorați de prezența în universitatea noastră a excelenței sale, domnul ambasador Dacă. Excelența sa este reprezentant permanent al Republicii Federale Democrate Etiopia la Oficiul Națiunilor Unite de la Geneva, precum și ambasador extraordinar și plenipotențiar în Elveția, Austria, Ungaria și România. Excelența voastră, domnule ambasador Dacă, vă spunem bine ați venit în universitatea noastră și vă rugăm frumos să ne adresați câteva cuvinte în deschiderea simpozionului.
We are particularly honored by the presence in our university of His Excellency Ambassador Dacă. His Excellency is the permanent representative of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia at the United Nations Office in Geneva, as well as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Switzerland, Austria, Hungary, and Romania. Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador Dacă, we welcome you to our university and kindly ask you to address us a few words in the opening of the symposium.
Professor Cosmin Popescu, distinguished guests, esteemed participants. First of all, I would like to acknowledge Ethiopia's honorary consul in Cluj-Napoca, Dr. Zaharia, and also in Arad, Mr. Ayon Sandu. So, first of all, let me say thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a few words about Ethiopia. And I don't think that the Amharic Ethiopian language was used when they said welcome. Let me say this is Ethiopian language. It's easy, yes. Welcome. So this is I don't have a prepared statement, but let me just give you a little bit information about Ethiopia and agriculture in Ethiopia. As you all know, Ethiopia is in the Horn of Africa with a population of 120 million people. It is the second largest country population-wise in sub-Saharan Africa. And the population, mostly, almost 70%, is young people. And for Ethiopia, agriculture is very important sector of the economy. It is a cornerstone. It plays a central role in driving economic growth, in poverty alleviation, in food security, and it is GDP-wise, its share is largest, around 30 to 40% of GDP. It is still a dominant sector for decades and a primary driver of economic growth. Employment-wise, agriculture provides employment for more than 70% of the population, mostly residing in rural areas. It is also a main source of foreign currency as we mostly export agricultural products. Key export products are coffee, oilseeds, flowers, spices, and livestock. These are the main export products. I'll come back to the products when I talk about. By the way, I plan to talk about what agriculture plays in the economy. Secondly, I will talk about what the government's vision is about for agriculture. agriculture. And thirdly, investment opportunities in agriculture. And lastly, cooperation areas with Romania. With regard to the government policies and programs, since agriculture is a very important sector, the government has recognized it as very essential for achieving food security. And to this end, it has incorporated it into major 5-year plans of the country, what we call the growth and transformation plans. These are 5-year plans, so it is incorporated. And then, since 2010, we have an institution established named Agricultural Transformation Agency. This was aimed at improving agricultural productivity and food security, focusing on scaling up successful agricultural practices and innovations. So, the first one is a vision. Government has a vision to transform agriculture. Number two, the government does many things to improve agricultural productivity. In this area, Ethiopia has introduced improved seed varieties, modern fertilizers, better irrigation methods. And we use climate-resilient crops, which are like drought-resistant maize, and hybrid seeds are being innovated in usage. As you know, in our part of the world, climate change is affecting us heavily. 2022 was the heaviest, we had the heaviest drought in the southern, eastern part of the country. So one of the areas of combating these effects of climate change is using advanced technology. So I will still talk about some of the challenges we still face in this area as well. And third point, as part of the productivity, we also have agricultural extension services. These services are provided to farmers. We provide them access to knowledge, training, and technical support. Most of the farmers are smallholder farmers, and technical experts are sent out to train them on farm management, on pest control, soil fertility, etc. So this is one area in improving extension services. Another is irrigation expansion. Ethiopia has mainly 3 agroclimatic zones. What we call Daga is the high altitude area. And then we have, this is up to 2,500 meters above sea level. And then we have what we call Wenadega, which is between 1,500 up to 2,000. And then we have the lowlands, the Ola. So for all this, we depend on rain. It's a rain-fed agriculture. So the movement is to move towards irrigation. So this is one area that we are doing in terms of productivity. Number 3, it is rural infrastructure development. Ethiopia, I should have mentioned, is a very large country, 1.1 million square kilometers, very huge. So most people live in the rural areas. So what has been being done was to provide them with road transport, to connect farmers to the market, for them to have access to delivery of inputs, etc. Second point in this area in rural infrastructure development is storage facilities. So the government is helping the farmers with the private sector to produce, to manufacture storage facilities and improve warehouse facilities. And energy also, infrastructure. Rural electrification, wind, solar, electricity is being provided. I want to underline on one other point, climate change adaptation. As I mentioned to you, due to the climate change, we are following climate smart agriculture. This is through crop diversification, agroforestry, and use of organic fertilizers. By the way, our government has initiated, by way of the Prime Minister, has initiated what is called the Green Legacy Initiative. We are planting, so far in 5 years, 40 billion seedlings. This is aimed at combating desertification, because there is so much soil erosion, there is so much land degradation, and I don't know, we are trying to get it registered in the Guinness Book of Records. I don't know, we'll see. But every year, even last year, we planted about 7 billion seedlings. So this is now the total land coverage, which was forested, was about 4% of the country, is now in just 4-5%, grown to 23.6% of the land area has been covered by trees. Another, I mentioned to you, drought-resilient crops. This requires innovation, special kinds of maize, sorghum, millets. These are actually known to be drought-resistant seeds, so we use them. And then also we also use early warning systems, including AI. These days we have what we call AI Institute. These days through these systems, diseases affecting crops could be detected early, and prevention can be made. So let me come to my final points. I don't want to take you more, but let me just talk about the recent phenomena, what we are doing to alleviate, because I said to you, most of our farmers are smallholder farmers. Now, you cannot have good produce productivity if you have small plots of land. So what we are introducing is cluster farming. Group of farmers would come together in a specific area to work together in a coordinated manner. So this enhances productivity. They have access to markets, technology, and finance. We encourage them to organize in agricultural cooperatives. So this is one area this is a recent phenomenon, the past couple of years, and we are seeing very huge results. We are now producing our own wheat, for the domestic market at least. Another area is encouraging the rural areas, people with livestock, poultry, etc. This is what we call the encouraging people to have their own small farms so that they become secure in food security. Okay, so what we have been facing as challenges is mainly the climate change issue. Despite despite everything that we are doing, we are still facing with this global phenomenon. Of course, there is also poverty. We're trying our best to combat poverty, particularly in rural areas. And of course, urbanization. Nowadays, the young people come from the farms to the cities. So these are some of the challenges. All in all, This is a vision of the government for agriculture. Let me briefly, I don't know the time, but let me just briefly tell you the areas attractive for investment. One is coffee. I don't know how many of you know Ethiopia is the origin of coffee. Does anybody know, whenever you think of coffee, do you think of Ethiopia? Ethiopia, then it comes from a place called Kafa. It is, we call Ethiopia the land of origins. Even humans come from Ethiopia, that's what we say. And come and discover it, if you don't believe it. So, coffee farming, coffee processing, and branding is an area of investment. Horticulture, including fruits, vegetables, flowers. We are the largest exporters of flowers, cut flowers, roses to Europe. Livestock and livestock products, meat, leather, hides, we export them mainly to the Middle East market. But this is an area which is also very important for investment. Another area is oilseeds. We produce sesame seeds. Sesame very much produced, and this become, investors can come in some value add something, and they can extract oil, whatever, and then they can export it. Cereals, we have what is called teff. Teff is a small grain. It's made, usually it's a staple food, called injera is made out of teff. So you can mechanize the production of teff and maize, wheat, etc. So this is mainly issues that I wanted to raise. Finally, let me say something about relations between Ethiopia and Romania. We have a very excellent relationship between Ethiopia and Romania. We have a long history going back several years, starting during the Ceausescu time and during our period. We used to have very, very good relations, which is still up to now. And now we want to promote labor cooperation. We want to promote education, training. We want to promote, mutually beneficial areas, economic, trade, and investment between our two countries. And to this end, Professor, I am very much happy that I'm here today. We can cooperate. Universities, we have a cultural university. You can come, or we can have exchange of faculties, students, research. So there is so much opportunity for cooperation. And so we definitely work on this. We have our three consuls here, so we can really link up and develop this cooperation, research, innovation, and transfer of technology. I thank you so much.
Vă mulțumim, excelența voastră, pentru prezență și amabilitatea de a ne transmite câteva gânduri.
We thank Your Excellency for your presence and for kindly sharing a few thoughts with us.
În cadrul simpozionului, ne-a onorat cu prezența o persoană cu mare experiență în viață, antreprenor, economist, absolvent al Universității Naționale de Artă Teatrală și Cinematografică Ioluca Caragiale și al Academiei de Studii Economice din București, precum și organizator a peste 500 de conferințe internaționale în cadrul a 21 de țări. Domnule Bogdan Popovici, vă spunem bine ați venit în universitatea noastră și vă rugăm să ne adresați câteva cuvinte prin care să ne motivați și mai mult în tot ceea ce facem și să ne furnizați câteva ingrediente pentru o carieră de succes.
Among the distinguished guests at the symposium is an individual with extensive life experience, an entrepreneur, economist, graduate of the National University of Theatre and Film, Ionuca Caragiale, and the Academy of Economic Studies in Bucharest, and organizer of over 500 international conferences across 21 countries. Mr. Bogdan Popovici, we warmly welcome you to our university and kindly invite you to address us with a few words of motivation and to share with us some key ingredients for building a successful career.
Meine Damen und Herren, viele Leute, Mesdames et Messieurs, beaucoup de gens, trop, cari amici, siete molti. Ladies and gentlemen, I was not expecting really so many. Cred că e destul de clar că sunteți puțin cam mulți. I would like to ask a few favors for my speech. First of all, I would like to ask the audience to raise hands, the guys who don't speak Romanian. Please raise hands. Everybody who is not speaking Romanian. Up, 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 up. There are quite some people, yeah. On the other hand, I would like the Romanians to have the courage, la juga românii care nu vorbiți bine engleză, să ridicați mâna. Sau care nu înțelegeți bine. Haide, aveți curaj, ridicați ca lumea, ca lumea, ca lumea. Yes, there are some Romanians not speaking very well English, and here are a lot of people not speaking Romanian. So that, ladies and gentlemen, because I've been told that I should speak in Romanian, I will try to mix all the languages I can, Romanian and English. I'll start in English, and go back to Romanian, and then I'll back into English. În primul rând, trebuie să înțelegeți că, uitându-mă din poziția asta către voi, și având destul de multă experiență, chiar am făcut conferințe în 21 de țări, în 21 de capitale de țări, în cele mai bune locații din țările respective. Dar este prima dată când văd atât de mult IQ la un loc. Am vorbit în fața politicienilor, am vorbit în fața antreprenorilor, am mai vorbit și în fața academicilor, dar în fața acestei combinații de profesori universitari, doctori și tineri cercetători până în 45 de ani, n-am vorbit, e prima dată. There is a lot of IQ in this audience, so many doctors, academics, and young researchers until 45 years old. Of course, I am until 45 years old. Bineînțeles că eu am până în 45 de ani, ca tânăr cercetător. Ce ar trebui să le spui unor tineri, ce ar trebui să le spui unor cercetători și cum ai putea să nu plictisești academicii care sunt academici și vin și vorbesc aici tot timpul către voi. Eu am fost genul de student care a stat întotdeauna în spate. Încet, încet, pe măsură ce trece vârsta, ajuns să stai în primele rânduri. Dragii mei, ce titlu ar putea să aibă în fața unor cercetători care timp de 2 zile vor prezenta lucrări științifice din partea unui om care trăiește între această publicație, această revistă pe care o facem noi și care se numește Futism, nu e singura, facem mai multe, dar asta este una dintre ele, și care citește, pentru că cine nu citește nu trăiește, The Economist, de săptămâna aceasta, care spune Europe, wake up. Și pe coperta lui Europe, wake up, e Trump. Ce putem să facem să atragem atenția? Ce putem, care e tema? În mod normal, o temă către voi ar trebui să vorbească despre prezent și viitor. Prezentul, astăzi și tema la care mă gândesc ar trebui să fie cumva votul câștigător al tânărului cercetător. My theme should be the winning vote of the young researcher. Credeți că este vorba despre votul de săptămâna aceasta, săptămâna viitoare, de duminica viitoare și peste 2 duminici, și peste 3 duminici? Haideți să vedem. Mă simt ca la examenul celebru. Examenul celebru, descrieți universul în 150 de cuvinte și dați și 30 exemple importante. Cum să descrii universul în 150 de cuvinte? Și atunci m-am gândit că poate vă împărtășesc rețetele secrete de cercetare pe care le-am descoperit și doar eu le știu. Și poate, dacă ne înțelegem, vă spun o rețetă secretă. Cum facem cercetare? Einstein, care cred că a fost puțin mai deștept decât unii dintre noi, poate nu decât toți, spunea: dacă aș ști cum să fac, nu s-ar mai numi cercetare. Foarte interesant. Ca să putem să mergem în această cercetare, vreau să vă aduc aminte că acum 3 săptămâni, în această universitate, am făcut Timișoara Food Summit, ediția a 3-a, împreună cu Universitatea, cu oamenii de afaceri importanți din Banat și împreună cu o mulțime de academici și oameni de afaceri și oficiali veniți din toată țara. Exact aici. Am senzația că Timișoara Food Summit, ediția a 3-a, continuă cu această conferință internațională, surprinzătoare prin număr de participare, prin intensitate și prin nivel. Ca să nu mă fac de râs, am să spun întâi că un om deștept, care a fost ministru de finanțe, care este armean și profesor de matematică, Varujan Bosganian, spunea acum 3 săptămâni în această universitate că România trăiește cea mai bună perioadă din istoria ei și a venit cu argumente, cu cifre comparative față de anul 2000, față de anul 1990, față de 1930. Aș vrea să vă întreb, să vedem dacă aveți curajul opiniilor. Cine crede dintre voi că România trăiește cea mai bună perioadă din istoria ei? V-aș ruga să ridicați mâna cei care credeți. Sunteți mulți cei care credeți că România trăiește cea mai bună perioadă din istoria ei. Cifrele așa arată. Și la nivel de speranță de viață, și la nivel de produs intern brut, și la nivel de venit pe cap de locuitor. Și în același timp are o mulțime de probleme care trebuiesc cercetate. Am aici, de-aia țin telefon aici, pentru că am temele pe care voi ziceți că le veți cerceta și despre care veți avea puncte de vedere. Prima temă pe care voi ziceți că o veți cerceta se numește Trends in European Agriculture Development. So that the 800,000 farmers from Romania having on average 5 hectares, will be researched by you. Accordingly, with PAC, the war in Ukraine, the influence from Brussels. Ladies and gentlemen, doamnelor și domnilor, vă spune ceva Janus? Știe cineva cine e Janus? Janus este un zeu roman cu 2 fețe. Zeul roman cu 2 fețe este un zeu al începutului și al sfârșitului. El este un zeu al porților. Foarte interesant. Zeul porților, poarta este deschisă când începe războiul și poarta se închide când începe pacea. Surprinzător, dintr-o coincidență ciudată, Janus îl cheamă și pe comisarul agriculturii din Uniunea Europeană. Dacă o să vă uitați, o să vedeți că așa-l cheamă. Și atunci m-am gândit să vă propun un joc. Dacă este vorba despre votul câștigător al tânărului cercetător, să ne imaginăm că toți aici suntem la vot, în sala de vot. Voi sunteți votanții, domnul rector Cosmin Popescu, domnul prorector Calman, sunt autoritatea electorală, că ei vor hotărî într-un fel sau altul cum ați votat. Și v-aș propune să vă gândiți că în stânga voastră, obligatoriu în stânga, acolo în camera aceea de luat vedere, vă privește Ursula von der Leyen și acest Janusz Bieckowski, comisarul pe politici agricole în Uniunea Europeană, care va fi schimbat în scurtă vreme, dar care a hotărât politica agricolă în ultimii 5 ani. Rețineți, mâna stângă, sus, vă rog. Mâna stângă, sus. Aici, la cameră, se uită la voi președinta Uniunii Europene, Ursula von der Leyen, se uită la voi Janus. Poate zeul cu 2 fețe, poate comisarul agriculturii europene. În timpul Ucrainei, pac. Urmează să vedem mai departe ce înseamnă asta. Aș vrea să-mi faceți o mare favoare. Ca să nu vă țin mult, ca să vă bucurați și pentru că urmează 2 zile intense. Doamnelor și domnilor, haideți să ne relaxăm pentru 5 secunde. Vă rog frumos să încercați să vă relaxați 5 secunde. Gândiți-vă că sunteți nu în scaun, în sala de conferință, ci sunteți pe un pat de apă. Puteți să faceți într-o astfel de sală efortul de a vă gândi că sunteți într-un pat de apă? Vă rog frumos, faceți-mi favoarea și închideți ochii 5 secunde. Please make me the great favor. Relax and close the eyes like on a waterbed for 5 seconds. Vă rog, închideți ochii 5 secunde pe patul de apă. Please close the eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pac. Now, we are going back to our subjects. Which are our subjects? The next one should be, after trends in European agriculture and development, horticulture, forestry, and biotechnology. Treabă serioasă. În pădure ne apucăm să facem modificări biogenetice și o să facem pădurea din Dumbrava minunată. Vreau să vă întreb pe tinerii cercetători, pentru că eu nu sunt de specialitate, câte specii de plante sunt pe planetă? Puteți să-mi spuneți și mie? Poate să-mi spună cineva câte specii de plante sunt pe planetă? Eu am citit că 350.000. 350.000 de specii de plante pe planetă. 350,000 species of plants on the planet. Știți câte se mănâncă sau pot fi mâncate din aceste 350.000 de specii? Se pare că pot fi mâncate 30.000 de specii. It looks they are edible 30,000 species of plants. Dragi cercetători, young researchers, if there are 350,000 species of plants on the planet, there are edible 30,000 species of plants on the planet. In reality, we eat on a regular basis all over the planet around 150. 150 se mănâncă regulat și intră în statisticile urmărite. Deci, cu alte cuvinte, voi, cei care faceți cercetare, aveți de cercetat diferența de la 150 la 30.000. Deci fiecare dintre voi, când face cercetare, are șansa să studieze fie pe cele 150 care se mănâncă, fie diferența până la 30.000. Păi asta înseamnă că cercetarea este un orizont extraordinar, că oportunitățile sunt uriașe și că îți trebuie un cap cât sala asta. Am putea noi să facem cercetare pe 30.000 de plante? Păi e greu să le și număr. Și atunci apare ceea ce ne place, nu ne place, inteligența artificială. Inteligența aceasta artificială despre care vorbesc toți. Cercetarea cu 30.000 de plante face capul mare. Dar voi nu vă opriți numai la cei pe 30.000 de plante și modificările genetice de pe ele. Voi mai aveți teme deștepte cum ar fi Animal Breeding and Pathology Today, Management of Rural Development, Management of Rural Development in Europe, PAC. Păi gândiți-vă că sunt 6.000 de sate părăsite în Italia, 2.900 de sate părăsite în Spania, la vedere 500 de sate părăsite în Belarus și 500 de sate părăsite în Bulgaria. În România, care e o țară care pune cu mare preț pe statistică, ar fi numai 126. Păi dacă le numărăm pe astea toate, avem o temă de cercetare uriașă. Deci fiecare dintre noi de aici, indiferent de ce am cercetat, numai să refacem satele și să intrăm în studiu regenerării rurale, ar trebui să avem capul încă o dată cât această sală. Da, în 1950, 66% din populația globului trăia la sate. În 2050, 66% din populația globului va trăi la oraș. Deci doar 30 ceva la sută din populația globului va mai trăi la sate. Încurcă-i dragi. Cum rezolvi regenerarea rurală? Care sunt programele macro? Și din punctul ăsta de vedere, Uniunea Europeană încearcă foarte tare să refacă sate, să investească mult în agricultură, în mediul rural, peste 360-380 de miliarde de euro. Întrebarea este, vom vota pentru Ursula von der Leyen și pentru Janus sau, atenție, voturile Sunt la alegere. N-am terminat. Vă spuneam doar că pe coperta revistei The Economist este Trump, care zice Wake up Europe. Mă uit mai departe la temele voastre de cercetare. Animal Science and Biotechnology, Food Chemistry and Engineering Technology. Am o întrebare simplă, ca pentru cercetători. Știe cineva câte specii de animale sunt pe planetă? Dragi cercetători, spune cartea că pe planetă ar fi cartografiate, evidențiate 1.700.000 de specii de animale. It says in the book that on the planet there are 1.7 million species of animals, from which 65,000 they have vertebrates, din care 65.000 de specii au vertebre. Și, dintr-o evaluare, dragi cercetători, de la 1,7 milioane despre care știm ceva, sunt 8,7 milioane în realitate, spun calculele, deci sunt 7 milioane pe care nu le-am cartografiat. Păi, cum facem, frate? Ce facem? Studiem un genom? Secvențiem un genom de unul singur, timp în care avem 1,7 milioane de specii de cercetat în plus? Știe cineva că din aceste 1,7 milioane, aproximativ 1.050.000 sunt cifrele oficiale. Eu le-am luat ca să mă prezint în fața voastră cât de cât în cunoștință de cauză. Sunt 1.050.000 de specii de insecte. Cantitatea de insecte de pe planetă este 10 la puterea 18. 10 urmat de 18 zerouri. Pentru fiecare om există 1,4 miliarde de insecte pe planetă, calculate până acum. 1,4 miliarde de insecte astăzi pe planetă pentru fiecare om. For every person on the planet there are 1.4 billion insects. Cantitatea totală de insecte pe planetă de 70 de ori mai mare decât greutatea tuturor oamenilor la un loc. Adică domnișoara blondă cu ochelari de acolo se multiplică de 70 de ori, dar este făcută din frumoasele insecte. Fiecare dintre voi are 70 ca voi făcuți din insecte. Să tot cercetezi, frate. Ai ce cerceta. Dar îți trebuie mijloace. Îți trebuie și bani. Trebuie să te înscrii fie în cei 700 de cercetători de la Academia de Studii Agrare, ASAS-ul, cu centrele sale de cercetare, cele 63, fie în cei 2000-2500 de cercetători din România, în zona business-ului și agriculturii clasice, fie în cei peste 2 milioane de cercetători de pe glob. E fascinant, deci există piață. Dar îți trebuie inteligență artificială. Îți trebuie putere de calcul. Acum vreo 7-8 ani, un tip deștept, care se numește Alin Cosmin, spunea într-o carte care se numește Superinteligența. Vă sfătuiesc să vă uitați la conferința lui de 20 de minute de pe TED despre superinteligență, că mai devreme sau mai târziu superinteligența tehnologică ne depășește. Un alt tip deștept, profesor la MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology in US, Max Tegmark, într-o carte celebră, Life 3.0, pentru că suntem la Universitatea de Științele Vieții, spunea că suntem în faza a treia a vieții umanității. Prima fază a fost biologică. Am fost animale, am mâncat, am vânat, am alergat, am preacurvit, ne-am înmulțit, ne-am dezvoltat și am trecut în faza a doua, care este animalul trecut în om cultural. Omul a devenit din animal om cultural. Am început să învățăm, să scriem, să pictăm, să desenăm, să cântăm. Și astăzi suntem în transformare în omul tehnologic. Omul tehnologic are nevoie de putere de calcul. Dacă îți taie cablurile, cum s-au tăiat săptămâna aceasta între țările nordice și Germania, moare internetul. E ca și cum ar muri toate calculatoarele pe care le aveți, toate telefoanele. Această posibilitate există. Pac, pac. Uniunea Europeană a propus Green Deal. Trump, noul său secretar general pentru energie, Chris Wright, Elon Musk, vin și spun aiurea, low carbonization. Nu ne interesează. Mai sunt 50 de ani cel puțin până când low carbonization va intra în funcțiune. Și atunci vă propun ca acolo sus în televizorul ăla să-l vedeți pe Trump și pe Elon Musk și pe Chris Wright și să vă hotărâți dacă atunci când Trump și Elon Musk și Chris Wright spun drill, baby, drill, forează, du-te înapoi la carburi, față în față cu ce spune Uniunea Europeană, Ursula von der Leyen și Janus, că trebuie să fie Green Deal, că trebuie să fie low carbonization. Voi când faceți cercetare trebuie să integrați toate aceste informații și să alegeți. Să votați o variantă sau să votați alta. Să votați pentru că sunteți în Europa soluțiile europene sau să vă gândiți că cele americane vor produce disruption, vor produce tulburări și atunci o parte din cercetarea pe care o facem astăzi va fi schimbată mâine și schimbarea va fi din ce în ce mai rapidă, din ce în ce mai agresivă. Și atunci, doamnelor și domnilor, tineri cercetători, young researchers, ladies and gentlemen, I don't suggest you to vote only between the agricultural community from Europe and the American decisions. Nu vă sfătuiesc să votați numai pentru raportul dintre și dilema și conflictul dintre Uniunea Europeană cu PAC-PAC. PAC-PAC nu înseamnă războiul, pușca sau glonțul, înseamnă politica agricolă comunitară. Are două fețe sau nu are două fețe? În timp ce unii cercetează low carbonization și se împotrivesc încălzirii globale, în Ucraina se trage o cantitate de bombe care încălzesc cât nu economisim în partea cealaltă. Dar de fapt și de drept Teoria patului de apă este o teorie a complexității. V-aș propune să vă uitați la Tesla's Laws, legile lui Tesla, pentru că cercetarea voastră, oricât de bine făcută, neconectată, cu sistemele de complexitate din ce în ce mai mari, teoria patului de apă în care v-am rugat de la început să vă așezați, vă obligă să votați în fiecare zi, să faceți alegeri în fiecare zi, dar să nu uitați nicio clipă în următoarele 2 zile ce spunea un bătrân buldog englez, cu un trabuc în colțul gurii, care bea dimineața o sticlă de whisky, se învăța, se culca, se scula după masă și mai bea o sticlă de whisky. În timp ce conducea armatele britanice învingătoare în al 2-lea război mondial. Fostul prim-ministru Winston Churchill ne învăța o chestie de cercetare extraordinară. Succesul, zice el, succesul nu-i final. Eșecul nu-i fatal. Singurul lucru important este curajul tău să mergi mai departe. Vă doresc curaj în următoarele 2 zile. Succesul nu-i final, eșecul nu-i fatal. Vă mulțumesc!
Mulțumim, domnule Iulian Drăcea, pentru mesajul motivațional transmis.
Thank you, Mr. Bogdan Popovici, for the motivational message.
Pentru prima prezentare în plen, îl invităm pe domnul profesor universitar dr. Surio Iono, decanul Facultății de Agricultură, Universitatea Bogor, Indonezia. Este expert în protecția plantelor și microbiologie, președinte al filialei indoneziene a Societății Internaționale de Științe Agricole din Asia de Sud-Est. Domnule decan, aveți cuvântul.
For the first plenary presentation, we invite Professor Dr. Surio Iono, Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture at Bogor University, Indonesia. He is an expert in plant protection microbiology and serves as president of the Indonesian branch of the International Society of Agricultural Sciences in Southeast Asia. Dean, the floor is yours.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for University of Life Science Regele Mihai I in Timișoara, especially the Faculty of Agriculture, for giving me opportunity to present our experience, our knowledge on research in Indonesia in one field. Is biological control of plant disease. Good morning, everybody. So the topic of our presentation is biological control of plant disease in Indonesia. This is we are talking about the research result and experience relating to biological control plant disease, and we also make possible collaboration after this presentation and after recognize the topic. We know in Indonesia we have major disease that this is a very important problem for Indonesian agriculture. For example, chili pepper is anthracnose and pepper yellow leaf virus. The second blast disease of rice. On long yard we have deep common mosaic virus. And oil palm, yeah, Indonesia has the greatest area of oil palm. We're also facing the basal stem rot disease is Ganoderma boninense. Now, these are the diseases. This is disease of shallot or small onion. This is also in tomato. And this is most devastating disease of chili pepper. Chili pepper is also most important vegetable in Indonesia. This is pepper yellow leaf virus. This is the group of Bigumu or Gemini virus. This is the common mosaic virus. Now, this is this table so you all how important the attack or the security of disease in major vegetable in Indonesia. This control method by farm is mainly based on chemical and resistant varieties. Resistant varieties not always available, and chemical as we have problem ineffective, especially for soil-borne disease and viral disease, and costly and environment and health problem. So we have research in long term involving many departments in IDB, plant protection, agronomy and horticulture, also in environmental biology. This biological control agent we have developed in Indonesia, especially in IDB University. The first is relating is grouped into yeast. This the representing genus is Aerobacillus and Rhododendron minuta. The second group is group Trichoderma. This is, for example, Trichoderma amatum and also other species, Arzianum and also Pseudopolemini. The bacteria, for example, we have developed Bacillus and also Bacillus polymixa and Pseudomonas species, and also in the new recent development we are also working with endophytic fungi. Now, this is the case of field of application of biological control in Indonesia. In our country, Indonesia, biological control is not only developed in laboratory in greenhouses, but we have also applied in the field level, farmers level. This is, for example, application in shallot or onion. This is of using Trichoderma to control basal stem rot of shallot caused by fusarium. This is we can see the different treated plots and untreated plots. Also, we have also developing this PGPR, plant growth promoting disease bacteria. Aside from controlling plant disease, the bacteria also stimulating the growth of plants. Like this is treated and untreated. This is it's not clear the picture how the innovative fungi we can also control effectively the Bigumu virus or chili pepper. This is how the effectiveness rate of various biological controls in the field level. We have various study on this, and this effectiveness rate ranging from the lowest thing I think for 54% and up to 95%. This is I think if we compare with chemical synthetic pesticide, the biological control agent have also high enough effectiveness rate. How now I'm coming to the problem is commercialization. The problem biological control of the disease first is commercialization progression in formulation technology and traceability. Now, for future outlook, the biological control in Indonesia have challenges. For the first is we have the biological control should have well characterized strain and traceability of the used strains. The second policy for supporting biological control agent. The third is farmers' education or increasing farmers' literacy on the biological control. Thank you.
Vă mulțumim, domnule decan, pentru interesanta prezentare și pentru că ați ales să fiți alături de noi în această zi importantă pentru Universitatea noastră de la o distanță apreciabilă.
Thank you, Dean, for your insightful presentation and for joining us on this important day for our university from such a considerable distance.
A doua prezentare va fi susținută de către domnul George Paicici, de profesie doctor medic veterinar și student doctorant în domeniul calitate, siguranță, igienă și tehnologie la Facultatea de Medicină Veterinară, Departamentul de Igienă și Tehnologii, Universitatea din Belgrad, Serbia. În prezent, domnul doctor cercetează cu mare pasiune surse alternative de proteine de origine animală. Domnule doctor Paicici, aveți cuvântul.
A second presentation will be delivered by Dr. George Pajic, a veterinarian and doctoral student specializing in quality, safety, hygiene and technology at the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, Department of Food Hygiene and Technology, University of Belgrade, Serbia. Dr. Pajic is passionately researching alternative sources of animal protein. Dr. Pajic, the floor is yours.
Thank you. First of all, greetings to everyone. This is one, let's say, interesting subject that's gaining on popularity more and more in the time. We researched many alternative proteins. However, we're focusing on animal insects right now because that's the most promising source that we encountered so far. At the end of the presentation, I will talk a bit more about other sources. In any case, today's subject is animal insects as additives in meat products. Not only that edible insects can be eaten as such, they can also be used as additives in meat products, especially in creating functional food, which is a very interesting thing. In any case, when we say edible insects, we can imagine that there are ones that are non-edible, and that's also correct. Some insects have certain chemicals or compounds that can severely affect human health, thus they are non-edible. However, edible insects are from orders of Coleoptera, Lepidoptera, and Orthoptera, and in the European Union we have exact list 5 insects that are edible and that can be used as edible insects. In the United Kingdom, that list is a bit longer and is matched on the list for animal feed. As you can see on this scheme I made, insect powders or extracts can be added into different products, like pasta products, application in snacks, application in fermented foods, and application in meat products. In the beginning, the thought itself was to create products that are cheaper and of better nutritional value. However, some products, like for example fermented yogurt, have reached quite high prices because they became extremely popular due to addition of edible insects, and they reached quite a high price. The main goal in most cases when adding edible insects as powders or extracts in different products is to increase their nutritional value. Edible insects as such have many bioactive compounds that can do very good things for human health. Though not many effects have been proven in vivo, the most of them are proven in vitro and they range from anti-HIV effect to the effects on Parkinson's disease, liver diseases, and so on and so on. But, however, as I said, those are only in vitro proven so far. When we talk about edible insects that will be added in meat products, the list is slightly different than the edible insects themselves, because not every edible insect is good for preparation and can easily undergo certain technological procedures. In any case, 4 insects are the best to use: crickets, grasshoppers, mealworms, and black soldier fly. On the right on this slide, this is the packaging that's commercially sold in the United Kingdom. So by the law of food safety and technology, these products can be bought freely on the market. For us in Serbia, that's not the case. Insects as such are definitely foreign object and foreign body in any food, so by our law they are not allowed in the product. That's why we are having big issues in testing and creating products, because we need special permits and it's quite complicated procedure in order to have sensory properties analyzed by people. I will begin with cricket flour as pork meat replacer in cooked sausages. In this table you can see the formulations of the sausages. There were 4. One is controlled and 3 formulations with different percentage of cricket flour in the final product that range from 1.5% to 3%. I won't go into details because we don't have much time. However, I will just say that the biggest issue in this product and all the products we will go to is definitely the changes in sensory properties. On the first that's color. The color is drastically changed, especially if you have sausages that are pale in color and you add very dark, for example, grasshopper flour. They will become from a palish color, whitish, to very dark brown color, which for consumer is quite problematic thing. Also, higher addition of insect flour can change purpose and others of the products. In this study, it was concluded that 1.5% is the best replacer and additive of cricket flour, because you get quite good nutritional value out of it and you don't change sensory properties in a big way. Here on the picture, it's not really good looking on the video here. We can see all 4 formulations. The last one is very dark when you look on the monitor on the screen, while the differences between the second and the third are not that many. The other product is and there were also 4 combinations with different cricket flour percentage added. You'll notice that there are 2 cricket flour and cricket flour, for example. More or less that's the same, with the exception that sometimes insect powder can be without fat. So that is the only difference, but the terminology is not very clear. As we can see here, also we have different changes in sensory properties. However, the plant glucose with cricket powders have much better amino acid composition, higher protein content and more minerals, which in nutritional and health aspect is of big importance. This study claims that no changes in microbiological status and quality were determined. However, that's hard to say because they use a small amount of flour and a small amount of products that are created in controlled environment. Cricket powder in this case was sterilized. In industrial way, that's not very possible. If you have tons and tons of such flour powder, it's not exactly possible right now from the technological aspect to have it all sterilized. Here on the picture you can see, and even though the picture is pale, you can see the difference between the control one on the far left and all other formulations, even with a lot of additional flour. powder, the color is very, very much darker, go towards dark brownish. It is interesting that in this case, the changes in color and the amount of flour added is not really dose dependent. So differences between 2.5% and 7.5% in color are mostly the same unless you check the color with instrumental way. The biggest issue definitely for consumers is the color, however also textural properties. These fruits have gummy taste. They are hard to chew and they can have sandy feeling, like something is staying in the mouth. So this for now is not very good to use for the consumers. I've added this one even though it was really successful. They tried to add the homogenized larvae in cooked sausages. They didn't make any food out of it. First of all, protein content, mineral content is very different in different orders of insect. However, it also varies from the development stage of the insect itself. So larvae are much lower nutritional value than the adult insects, and the changes on the sensory properties remain the same. They even tried adding up to 20-30% of homogenized larvae. They didn't achieve anything. They had much worse sensory properties, textural properties, and even lower nutritional value. So in this case, nothing was successfully done. Also, the big issue they encountered with this experiment is that they have very high cooking loss. They had cooking loss up to 60%, and if you have 100 grams of the product and 60% of cooking loss, you are left with 40 grams of the product, which is nonsense to use in industrial circumstances. You can see that the last one has the darkest color. That's because black solid slide larvae are very dark brownish. They didn't have any good properties, so the conclusion is that larvae for now are not improving things as yet. I was thinking because go to safety concerns when it comes to this kind of products, because they are more or less present in the markets in the UK and some parts of Europe, mostly Netherlands and France. It is interesting to mention that not all things that are connected to edible insects themselves go for the products themselves. First and foremost, I mentioned allergic reactions that are the most serious threat for consumers, especially because of the cross-allergenicity between edible insects and some seafood. They share the same protein, which is allergen in both cases, so it's a protein. So, for example, if you eat some seafood and then eat cricket or cricket flour, it is very possible that you will have severe allergic reaction. As for pathogenic microorganisms, they are standard as for all meat products. So, Staphylococcus, Clostridium, Bacillus, Streptococcus, and obviously you can have secondary problems when you have workers that are sick and so on. As for parasites in the meat products that are added, that have insect flour, they don't have any much meaning because mostly they are destroying ecological processes, so they are mostly tied to the edible insects. However, toxic elements and chemical hazards are a problem in both edible insects and their products. Mostly nowadays, the biggest issue is chemical hazards, and those are the residues of veterinary drugs that are present in insects, because use of veterinary drugs is not regulated in any place, anywhere, when it comes to farming and breeding edible insects in controlled environment. It says it's controlled environment, but use of medical stuff is not controlled at all, so it's quite interesting environment. For the very end, I've done a survey. This is the survey we are conducting right now on alternative sources of animal proteins. These include crocodile meat, lizard meat, snake meat. You can really read the QR code and fill it out when you have time and participate in this survey. We have quite a lot of countries already participating, up to 30. We have around 2,700 participants so far. However, quite a small number from Romania, so we can change that right now. If you have problems or if you have any questions, there is my contact email and don't hesitate to contact me at any time. Thank you very much.
Vă mulțumim, domnule doctor, pentru valoroasa expunere și pentru că ne-ați onorat cu prezența.
Thank you, Dr. Pajin, for your valuable presentation and for honoring us with your presence.
Vă invităm în continuare doamna Aisha Simbiat Husaini, lector și cercetător la Facultatea de Agricultură, Departamentul de Economie Agrară, Universitatea Ahmadu Bello Zaria, Nigeria. De asemenea, doamna Aisha Simbiat Husaini realizează activități de cercetare la Institutul Internațional pentru Agricultură Tropicală. În prezent, desfășoară în Universitatea noastră mobilitatea Erasmus ca student doctorant. Doamna Husaini, aveți cuvântul.
We now invite Mrs. Aisha Simbiat Husaini, lecturer and researcher at the Faculty of Agriculture, Department of Agricultural Economics, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Nigeria. Additionally, Mrs. Husaini conducts research at the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture. She is currently undertaking an Erasmus Mobility Program as a doctoral student at our university. Mrs. Husaini, the floor is yours.
Good morning, my name is Aisha Husaini from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. I'm here to present a paper titled The Dynamics of the Undernourished Population in Nigeria compared to Africa. By way of introduction, undernourishment has been a problem a key component problem in Africa. And because of that, in Africa, Nigeria is facing the highest undernourishment problem with a population of 25%. Undernourishment is beyond just the protein content or the calorie content. It is the proportion of the dietary requirements that is required for an individual to lose every day. Nigeria, the focus on undernourishment in the low and medium income country has increased significantly since after 2014. The reason can be attributed to the Russian and the Ukraine war, the COVID-19 pandemic, and also the conflicts, violence, and climatic disaster. And early warning has shown that countries like Nigeria, Somalia will face food insecurity. Population growth can also be attributed to why Nigeria is facing undernourishment, because we are having high population compared to our production demand. The problem statement. The objective of this research is to highlight the situation of food insecurity, respectively, undernourishment population. The research uses data from World Data, the Food and Agricultural Organization. And from this table, we are trying to look at the dynamics of the population, comparing Nigeria to Africa. From 2001 to 2002, they both have the same trend, but I would like to detail more on the Nigeria. The 2001-2002, there was a constant, but from 2003 to 2007, there was a decrease in the population, and this can be attributed to the government put in place some measures that help them to stabilize the food insecurity. But if you can notice, after 2015, there was a rapid increase in the undernourishment in Nigeria, and can attribute it to the Boko Haram insurgency, which happens in the north and the northern part of Nigeria. That's where mostly agricultural activities is being carried on, and there was displacement of agricultural activities, and which in turn leads to low agricultural produce. Now, looking at this table, I would like to explain this table in just three dimensions. That's the decline, the produce decline, the population growth, and the population growth, the produce decline, the population growth, and the absolute difference. In terms of the decline, from 2001 to 2007, for both Africa and Nigeria, there was actually decline, but the decline was steeper in Nigeria. This can be attributed to the fact that government was putting in place some measures to curb the insecurity, the government interventions. While from 2015, there was also, for 2015, there was also a decrease in undernourishment. And we attributed it to the same thing as political instability, climate disaster, population growth as well. Because we cannot meet our local demand while the population is growing. This is the product of decline, the return of growth, and the difference in absolute level. In terms of the difference in absolute level, there is difference between Africa and Nigeria. But despite the fact that we are facing much problem, Nigeria was able to bring in some measures to reduce the insecurity. And you can explain all these things in government policy. All these things you can attribute them to government policy and international interventions, impact of conflict and political instability, climate change and extreme weather events, and population growth. Now, for the government policy, agricultural support program, the government tried to bring in initiative like the government enhancement support program. They produce them with inputs, fertilizer, to help them to get access to this so that they can produce for us. Now, development of rural areas. In Nigeria, majority of our farmers are in the rural area, and the rural area is not developed. And because of that, after producing these things, there is no road network. The road network is not there. Inadequate storage facilities, which leads to inadequate storage facilities. Now, since there is no storage facility, we have to harvest loss, which kind of reduce the food produce in Nigeria. In terms of the role of international intervention, the likes of FAO, World Bank, and numerous NGOs were able to provide incentives and programs to help in the program. Partnership for Sustainable Development. We also had a program that was organized like AGRA, which helped us in informing us of the modernized agriculture, which was carried out to farmers. Now, agricultural resources. In terms of resources availability, the farmers, since there was insurgency, there was insurgency in the place, they were displaced of their land, they were not having resources to put in their activities. Post-harvest loss. As I said earlier, our farmers are smallholder farmers, and they are in the rural area. They don't have access to the urban area and to take their produce there. And because of that, they have inadequate storage facilities. So up to 40% of their farm produce is being lost to post-harvest losses. Logical infrastructure, because of this insurgency, to transport produce from the rural areas to the urban area is expensive, which in turn leads to higher consumer price when it gets to the town. In terms of the regional difference, we look at the difference between rural and urban area. The mainly agricultural produce take place in the rural area. Since there is no development, they cannot transport their goods to the urban area. While the urban area and so on do not have access to this farm produce, which makes the urban area to depend more on imported food rather than self-produced food in this area. Vulnerable groups. Now, in terms of undernourishment, we look at the likes of the pregnant women, the children, the age. They need some certain type of food, and because of this low produce in Nigeria, some of them do not have the access to this required calories for their body. Impact of climate change now, extreme weather events. In Nigeria, we have been faced with flooding and drought. In the northern region where the agricultural produce is grouping, there's flooding taking place there. And once there's flooding, the farmers, their return in the long run is reducing. While for the drought, the coastal area is being affected, and because of the area for the agricultural produce is being displaced. Adaptation strategies. We have so many research institutes in Nigeria, such as IAEA, Institute of Agricultural Research in Ahmadu Bello University. We have international, we have IIT, and we have research. They come together, they carry out research to kind of bring for example, they bring seeds to kind of fit in for this extreme weather. We have some varieties like some maize, some different kinds of varieties of maize and other varieties which suit in for this. Well, if there's flood, even though there's flood, those varieties can withstand those those conditions at that particular site. In terms of the conflict, impacts of internal conflict, we have cattle herdsmen, we have Boko Haram, as displaced the farmers and the crop, reduce the farm produce. The demographic pressure and urbanization. Urbanization changing, people in rural area they are changing their dietary preference, they prefer to eat processed rather than eating on self-produced food. In terms of nutritional education, the people don't know that they need a required calorie. So we are not encouraging if they can be awareness of the nutrition and type of food to be consumed at a particular age. Conclusion, we can conclude that from 2001 to 2021, there was an improvement made both in Nigeria and Africa due to effective agricultural policy, international and rural development. However, the reversal from 2015 can be attributed to population pressure, climatic change, inadequate infrastructure. The recommendation for us to address the food insecurity in Nigeria, there will be we need an integrated approach to address this by international collaborations, NGOs, government institutions coming together to see that and empower the local communities. And investing in education, both in terms of nutrition and agricultural practices, is crucial. For the conflicts, we have to ensure stability and providing safety needs for vulnerable population. Thank you for your attention.
Vă mulțumim, doamna Husaini, pentru prezentare și pentru că ați fost alături de noi astăzi.
Thank you, Mrs. Husaini, for your presentation and for being with us today.
Următoarea prezentare va fi susținută de Alexandra Maria Ivarașan, doctorandă în anul 1 în domeniul științe și siguranța alimentelor, la Universitatea Tehnică din Cluj-Napoca, Centrul de Nord Baia Mare, Facultatea de Științe, România. Este licențiată în domeniul control și expertiză alimentară, respectiv a obținut diploma de master în biochimie aplicată în cadrul aceleași universități. Doamna inginer Ivarașan, aveți cuvântul.
The next presentation will be delivered by Maya Alexandra Ivarașan, a first-year doctoral student in food science and safety at the Technical University of Cluj-Napoca, North Center Baia Mare, Faculty of Sciences, Romania. She holds a degree in food control and expertise and a master's degree in applied biochemistry from the same university. Mrs. Engineer Ivarașan, the floor is yours.
Greetings everyone, my name is Ivarașan Alexandra. I'm a first year PhD student at the Technical University of Cluj-Napoca, North University Center of Baia Mare, and my work is entitled Energy Bars, Enhanced with Fish Hydrolyzer and Their Effects on Consumers' Sensory Perception. The fish hydrolyzer that we use in this study is called Pro-Atlantic SG, and is a premium hydrolyzed fish protein derived from blue wheating that are wild caught in the North Atlantic Ocean. This product is spray dried and has an excellent amino acid peptide profile and superior solubility that makes it a protein of choice for premium food and aquaculture applications. Figure 1 displays the proximal composition of the fish hydrolyzer, namely product characteristics, the typical analysis, heavy metals content, and the microbial analysis. As we can see, as mentioned before, we will see that the product has a good amino acid profile. It's free of dairy, lactose, gluten, sugar, and also GMO and soy-free. And is 100% soluble in water with a shelf life of minimum 18 months. The protein content for dry basis ranges from 92 to 95%, and the protein content as it is in the fish hydrolyzer ranges between 88 to 91%. The moisture content is below 6% with a fat content of less than 0.05%, total mineral content of 8 to 10%, and the pH a little bit higher than 6.5. As for heavy metals and microbial analysis, they respect the European standards. No Listeria or Salmonella was detected in the product. The nutritional and amino acid composition of the fish hydrolyzer is displayed in this figure. As we can see, it has 367 kilocalories per 100 grams, from which less than 2 are kilocalories from fat, a fat content of less than 0.05%, and 3 grams of dietary fiber. The protein content, as it is found in the product, ranges between 88 and 91%. Several vitamins were identified in the fish hydrolysate, with concentrations ranging from 45 micrograms to 3.7 milligrams. Also, minerals identified were calcium, potassium, and magnesium in the highest concentrations, followed by sodium, iron, and zinc. The amino acid composition is very wide. Both essential and non-essential amino acids were found in the product, with the highest concentrations for non-essential amino acids like glutamic acid and aspartic acid. Also, essential amino acids were found in high concentrations for lysine, leucine, threonine, valine, isoleucine, and so on. The product is usually stored in bulk bags in a cool and dry place, as it is extremely hygroscopic. Given the high nutritional content of the fish hydrolysate, it was used to produce functional high-protein energy bars. The composition of fish hydrolysate used for the production of energy bars was 0%, 1%, 3%, 5%, and 10% fish hydrolysate. The ingredients used to produce the fish hydrolysate energy bars are displayed in Table 1. All the ingredients are similar for the 5 samples that were produced, except in the concentration of fish hydrolysate. Also, whey protein was added in the composition of the samples in order to adjust the taste and smell of the products. The ingredients were mixed together, then coconut oil and water was added to form a homogeneous dough. After that, the dough was placed on a baking tray and left to cool down for about 30 minutes at the refrigerator. After this, the samples were subjected to sensory analysis. The appearance of the energy bar samples is presented in figure 3. At the upper part of the figure is presented the surface appearance of the fish hydrolysate energy bars. It can be seen that all the products have a homogeneous surface appearance, while the lower part of the figure shows the section appearance of the samples. The sensory analysis was carried out with the help of 89 participants that were grouped by gender, residence, age, and education level. They were placed in separate sensory booths and were asked to rate the product from 1 to 9, 1 being the less appreciated and 9 being the most liked. As grouped by gender, 72% of females participated in the study, 28% males, 56 city residents, 43% village residents. We had no participants under 18 years old, 63 participants between 18 and 30, 17% participants between 31 and 50, and 19% participants older than 50 years old. Based on education level, both upper secondary education participants and academic education participants attended the study. As for general results, the sensory parameters that were analyzed for all the categories were appearance, color, texture, smell, taste, hardness, stickiness, and general acceptability was considered the most important parameter as an overall evaluation of the product. As for general results, it can be observed that the reference sample with 0% fish hydrolysate in its composition obtained the highest scores in terms of appearance, color, smell, taste, and hardness, and also the highest score for general acceptability with 8.22 marks out of 9. However, the sample with 1% fish hydrolysate was also positively evaluated for texture and distinctiveness. Samples with higher concentrations of fish hydrolysate were rejected by consumers because of their unpleasant smell of fish and pronounced taste. The results grouped by gender for male participants showed a high appreciation only for the reference sample with 1% fish hydrolysate, with a general acceptability score of 8.29, and also for the sample with 1% fish hydrolysate for appearance and stickiness. Female participants had a greater tendency to appreciate the samples with 1% fish hydrolysate in terms of color, texture, hardness, and stickiness. Also, general acceptability was rated with the high score in this case. As for city residents, it was a greater tendency to evaluate with higher scores the samples with 1, 3, and 5% fish hydrolysate in terms of color. However, the reference sample obtained the high score for general acceptability. Village residents also rated with the highest marks the reference and 1% fish hydrolysate energy bars, the highest general acceptability being obtained by the 1% samples. People between 18 and 30 years old positively evaluated the sample with 10% fish hydrolysate in terms of hardness and stickiness, while the samples with 1% and 3% were positively evaluated for color and texture. The highest score for general acceptability was unfortunately obtained by the reference sample, as they disliked samples with high concentrations of fish hydrolysate. Panelists between 31 and 50 years old also appreciated the reference sample with high scores. However, sample with 1% fish hydrolysate obtained the highest marks for texture, smell, hardness, and stickiness. The panelists that were older than 50 years old had a greater tendency to appreciate the sample with 1% fish hydrolysate with general acceptability of 8.60 out of 9. Also, the reference sample was the most liked in terms of color, texture, smell, taste, hardness, and stickiness. Surprisingly, the panelists with upper secondary education level appreciated the samples with 1, 3, and 5% fish hydrolysate in terms of color, smell, hardness, and stickiness. The highest general acceptability score was found for the reference sample that also obtained the highest marks in terms of appearance, texture, and taste. As for academic education level, only the reference sample was appreciated in terms of general acceptability, while for other parameters, the 1% energy bar was presented the highest scores. To sum up, this table presents the highest sensory analysis scores based on the general acceptability for each parameter that was analyzed. It can be seen that the highest scores for general acceptability range from 8.18 to 8.16. The highest scores were obtained in case of 1% fish hydrolysate energy bars for female participants, village residents, and participants older than 50 years old, while the reference sample obtained the highest scores for general acceptability for the other parameters. The samples with the lowest scores were obviously the ones with the highest concentration of fish hydrolysate, the 10% fish hydrolysate energy bars, excepting the results for the upper secondary education level participants that disliked the most the samples with 5% fish hydrolysate in their composition. To conclude, the high values of the relative standard deviation indicated a high variability between the individual scores given by the panelists. In the case of individual parameters, the highest scores were obtained by samples with 0, 1, 3, and up to 5% fish hydrolysate. The persons with secondary education level had a greater tendency to appreciate products with 5% fish concept in terms of color and hardness only. Following the processing of the sensory analysis data, the highest appreciations from consumers were found only for the reference and the 1% fish tourism samples. Unfortunately, the products with the higher protein content were rejected by consumers due to their unpleasant smell of fish and very pronounced taste, given by the presence of hydrolysis. For this reason, it is necessary to improve the technological process of obtaining energy bars with fish hydrolysis in order to adjust their taste and smell that are important characteristics with a strong impact on the consumer perception. This research was conducted with the financial support provided by the Novacodis project that involves 28 partners out of 14 different countries. The project aims to provide consumers with new functional and traceable products that are produced with more sustainable processes. I want to address some special thanks to Biomarine Ingredients Island for providing the program SG High Quality Fish Hydrolysis. And last but not least, the instrumental support provided by the Scientific Research Center of Environment, Food and Health of the Technical University of Cluj-Napoca is gratefully acknowledged. Thank you for your attention.
Vă mulțumim frumos pentru valoroasa prezentare și pentru interesul manifestat.
Thank you very much for your valuable presentation and the interest you have shown.
În continuare, urmează prezentarea doamnei dr. Diana Florea, cadru didactic la Facultatea de Medicină Veterinară din Timișoara. Dumnezeu este pasionat de studiul bolilor pielii de animalele de companie și este diplomat european cu de devenire. Doamna doctor, aveți cuvântul.
Next, we welcome Dr. Diana Florea, a lecturer at the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine in Timișoara. She is passionate about studying skin diseases in companion animals and is on the path to becoming a European diplomat in this field. Dr. Florea, the floor is yours.
I quickly of this week. Hello everyone. I promise to be as quick as possible with my presentation. It's called Effective and Cyclosporin-Based Protocol in canine sebaceous adenitis, and it is a case series. I will start with, of course, everyone wants to know what is sebaceous adenitis and what this disease is exactly. It is an inflammatory disease of the sebaceous gland, resulting in the destruction of these glands. However, it usually affects dogs, but there have been reports of it affecting rabbits, affecting cats. There has been one report of it affecting horses, and one report of humans being affected by this disease. So, how does it actually work? Well, currently, sebaceous adenitis is believed to be an immune-mediated disease, but the pathogenesis is not yet fully understood. Consequently, there are some hypotheses. The first one is that it is a genetically inherited disease, leading to the destruction of sebaceous glands. It mainly affects standard poodles and Akita Inus, and it has been demonstrated that these two breeds have an autosomal recessive gene conducting to this disease. The second hypothesis is that there are most born with abnormalities in the lipid metabolism, affecting keratinization and, of course, sebum production. And the third and most agreed upon theory is that this disease is an immune-mediated or an autoimmune disease, that where we have antibodies directed against the sebaceous glands of animals. However, studies have failed to literally acknowledge the presence of circulating autoantibodies or of tissue-bound autoantibodies. So that is why we can not say for sure which mechanism or if a combination of mechanism is actually the cause behind it. So, what do we actually see when we talk about sebaceous adenitis in dogs? Most commonly affected breeds are Akitas, Vishlas, and standard poodles, and also Havanese dogs. The main clinical signs are excessive follicular casting, like as you can see in the first picture. The hair is easily removed from the skin and it has a lot of debris at the roots. Hyperpigmentation, skin is usually black. In these animals, they are very, very oily. The smell is also very, very bad. And, of course, alopecia. So, what was the point of our study, actually? The point of our study was to see if one drug is useful in long-term treatment of sebaceous adenitis, because we currently have no gold standard in the treatment of this disease. So, for this means we had 3 animals included in the study. It is a rare disease, so don't be really not impressed by the number of animals included in our study. All 3 animals were dogs, females, and they belonged to the same breed. They were all 3 Akita Inus. The age range was between 5 and 10 years old. So, how do we establish the diagnosis, of course, which is the first step in our study. The diagnosis was established, first of all, based on the clinical signs, which you can see, very bad, poor quality hair coat, a lot of follicular casting, alopecia, generally an overall bad aspect of the hair coat. And of course, confirmation comes with biopsies. For that matter, we collected 8mm punch biopsies from the dorsal area of our patients, and we sent them to laboratories for histopathological interpretation. The results came back positive for all 3 cases. As you can see in the picture of the histopathological preparation, sebaceous glands are absent in these animals, and we have a lot of infiltration of inflammatory cells in the area where the sebaceous glands should have been, as you can see in the black arrows pointing towards those areas. Right, so, next step. Let's treat them. Let's try something. Let's try to make them look better, right? As I said, there is no gold standard in treating this disease, so we chose to use cyclosporin. Cyclosporin is an immune-modulating drug. It generally affects the proliferation of T cells, which are mainly apparently implicated in sebaceous adenitis. Cyclosporin, above the immune-modulating effect, it also induces the anagen phase, which is the growth phase of hair, and it also has effects of hypertrichosis, so we will have hair growth as a secondary effect of administering this drug. Cyclosporin was given in the general dosage of 5 milligrams per kilogram per 24 hours, and the treatment lasted for 12 months. Now, the follow-up examination protocol. Well, we had a re-evaluation schedule, and we wanted to see our patients every 4 months. We attributed the clinical scoring to evaluate how well the cyclosporin was working on these animals. Scores assigned were based on the extension of the alopecia and severity of follicular casts. We also performed lab assessments because, in the end, this is an immune-altering drug, so we needed to do a proper surveillance of what was happening inside the body, apart from what was happening outside of it. So we monitored serum levels of urea, creatinine, ALT, and AST activities. And also we wanted the owner's feedback, because that's the most important for us as clinicians, of course. So, what did we obtain? Well, a clinical score was used to evaluate the impact, and the clinical score was significantly decreased by the 4th month of usage of this drug. Clinically visible results, though, were only noticed by the 12th month of treatment, and unfortunately, only 2 or 3 dogs responded well to the treatment. The 3rd one constantly suffered from secondary bacterial infections, and we needed to withdraw him from the treatment plan because we needed to administer antibiotics and antiseptics, which would alter the results of our study on cyclosporin. So, what did we notice? Well, we noticed general improvements. Alopecia and scaling reduced in all dogs, and significant enhancement in the coat appearance, as you can see. The dogs became fluffier by far. Remission timeline, well, it was most pronounced at 3 months of treatment, but initial results were really, really visible barely after 4 months. So this is something that would scare most owners, and they really need to understand that the treatment of this disease is lifelong and long-term inspection, basically. There was an outlier case, as I said. The dog showed worsened clinical scores at 12 months, despite ongoing cyclosporin treatment, and we had to withdraw him. And the blood screenings all were maintained within normal ranges. This is our first patient that started looking way better by 4th month of treatment. Second patient, you can notice a huge difference in the tail area, in the face area as well. I'm really sorry, my patient just sent me this morning a video of this exact dog, which is even fluffier. I told her she should have sent it to me last night when I made the presentation. So, what are the insights into sebaceous acinitis treatment and predispositions? Well, common treatment protocols are various. We have combinations of keratolytic shampoos. We use a lot of emollients as well, topically speaking. Some studies support the use of systemic retinoids, however, they were only undergone in standard poodles. Also, there are some studies supporting the use of corticosteroids, but they were only useful in short-coated breeds, not in long-coated breeds like these ones. And in the end, of course, studies supporting cyclosporin to be used as gold standard treatment of this disease. We have a breed predisposition, which is clear in all studies and in ours as well. Akitas had a high predisposition and they were present more than all the other breeds. And of course, we can also make some observations on hair regrowth. The top coat regrowth was well observed. However, the dorsal part of the body seems to be the last one to regenerate. So, what are the conclusions? We definitely need additional studies. And we need larger populations of dogs being treated with this drug to state its efficiency. Evidence suggests that cyclosporin has limited effects in chronic cases, though, where perifollicular inflammation is already under control. So it is something that maybe we should let our owners know, that it doesn't work miracles, but it makes your pet look better. It is well tolerated with few adverse effects reported, very few cases of episodes of diarrhea and transitory vomiting in some of our patients. And the continuous treatment, of course, reduces the risk of recurrence. So, what are our prospects in the treatment of this disease? Prospective studies are focusing on another drug, which is the octreotide, also an immune-modulating drug. And, well, thank you for your attention. Thank you to my colleagues. Thank you to my mentors who have introduced this market of oncology. And, well, not in the end, thank me. Thank you very much.
Vă mulțumim frumos pentru valoroasă prezentare și pentru că ați venit să fie alături de noi astăzi.
Thank you very much for your valuable presentation and for choosing to join us today.
Ultimul, dar nu cel din urmă, domnul doctor inginer Grigore Emilian Monișan, cercetător științific în cadrul Departamentului de Inginerie Genetică, Facultatea de Inginerie și Tehnologie Aplicate a Universității noastre, cu o experiență relevantă în ameliorarea plantelor, acumulată în colaborări cu diverse companii de profil, ne va prezenta azi modalitățile de identificare a purității genetice și menținerea acesteia în divizii comerciale. Domnule inginer, aveți cuvântul.
Last but not least, Dr. Grigore Emilian Monișan, a scientific researcher in the Department of Genetic Engineering, Faculty of Engineering and Applied Technologies of our university, will present methods for identifying and maintaining genetic purity in commercial hybrids, drawing from his extensive experience in plant improvement for collaborations with various industry-specific companies. Dr. Engineer Monișan, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So, it's good that we are the survivors, so I congratulate you to stay until the last presentation. I make it short, very short shot of science. Today I'm going to present some molecular statistical approach to determine the genetic purity in commercial hybrid seed production. Why it's important? Because sometimes when you lose the purity in production of the hybrid seed, then you lose production, you lose qualities, you lose resistant to diseases. So, as our colleague said, my name is Iulian. I finished my PhD thesis last year, where I developed and implemented some biotechnologies in sunflower breeding programs. As you know, as always wanted to say that Romania, why sunflower? Because Romania is the first country that developed sunflower hybrids in the world. So it's a big deal for Romania because also Romania stands a good place for the area of surface that we cultivate sunflower. Also for the production, I think the surface is 1.2 and the production is 2 million tons. Regarding the economical point of view, the farmers that cultivate the sunflower are very happy because the price is rising in Romania. We expect like a 3% increase in sunflower seed production in terms of the price. Okay, so breeding program and seed production are two different types. In the breeding department, what we do is basically we get the germ plants, we select the plants, then we go to pressure it on the F2 generation, then we go in F3 and F4. In F4, it's where the process starts. We make the crosses, we make the hybrids, then in F5, 6, 7, 8, basically we test the hybrids to see the quality of the hybrids, the production of the hybrid, and after that, maybe we actually push some hybrids in registration, and from that stage, the biological term is that we have the breeder seeds. The breeder seeds then takes another issue. Basically, what you are trying to do is to replicate the hybrid once again to the fundamental intimacy of the genetics. So, if you don't do the seed production correctly through pre-basic, basic, and certified seed production, then you lose quality. You lose a lot of quality and you lose a lot of yield. Because if you do the seed production correctly, it means that you have great purity. It means that from the pre-basic, actually you get around 3 or 5 points more in yielding if you manage to have a great seed production. And the seed production processes are very, implicated to have this purity control. This is one of the methods that we created in our department, in my thesis. Actually, it's a way that we can reduce the number of invert lines. It got a lot of attention. Maybe you can look it up. We hope we get more companies attracted in this area. In our department, we did a lot of research this year. We actually published 7 EC. We have 2 more in the review process. We have 2 more EC that are almost ready to submit it. We have 1 research contract and 1 patent undergoing. So we have a lot of activity. Okay, back again to the purity control. At first, you can see that, okay, that's a plant that's off-type. I usually, as a breeder, recognize that as the off-type. But in general, the farmer will not see that because that plant still produce seeds. So it will not affect in the first generation if the purity control is the purity is very low. But I had the experience when I had an invert line that was like very short, and 5 years later the invert line was very tall. So I lost a lot of heterosis effect, which means I lost a lot of yield, and I lost a lot of agronomical characteristics. So there are 2 types of way you can identify purity. Okay, genotyping, molecular markers, this is our job. But for the farmers, for example, if they want to see the quality of the hybrid, they can look it up when in the demo plots or in field. They can just see how many plants are sterile. If, for example, from 100 plants, 10 plants are sterile, then I advise the farmer to just don't buy that seed, because it's obvious that the company doesn't do the seed production correctly and doesn't maintain the purity control in the right standards. How we can implement biotechnology? We have to, all the time when I was working with several companies, they all asking, okay, we do that, but how is the benefit? We invest, but we have to have the similar, at least similar benefit with the amount of investment. So you need to find the equilibrium when you implement biotechnology. Also, you have to be creative, and you have to implement biotechnology in your company in the context of the company. So, for example, if the company is under 1 million revenue, then you don't do genomics and other stuff. So it really depends on the stage of the company where you can implement biotechnology. Okay, molecular markers can detect the purity between different varieties. We actually had several publications where we can saw different primers, how they were different from how they would manage to find the difference between species. And it's very important that, okay, we find several primers that were very good, but we have to implement the statistics here, because if we have a positive correlation between two primers, even though the primers are very good, if the correlation is positive, it doesn't mean anything, because they are basically showing you the same results. So rather than use two primers, you rather use one primer. So in general, you should look for negative correlation between primers, because you want the primers to work together, not against each other. Another use of the molecular marker is in the left correlation heat map. It's okay, you don't see it very well, but there we had like 30 varieties. We implemented the molecular markers. We tried to see which varieties or embed lines or genotypes were very distant from each other. So basically we can predict which hybrid had a bigger heterosis. This is good because if you find from 1,000 hybrid that you want to produce, if you find 10% of the combination that have the best yield, it's economically point of view a great achievement, and this is the thing that company look for. Another issue is that primers, depending on their nature, work differently from each other. Some can see intimate, like simple sequence primers. They can see intimate differences between varieties or genotypes, and others can see general overview of the germplasm you have available. Another perspective is gene editing that we can that we did. I did in my activity. We did. It's a very hot topic right now for sunflower. We actually tried to create some genotypes resistant to salt tolerance, which we saw later on cytological experience that salt tolerance equals to drought tolerance. So basically, if you have at least for sunflower, I don't know other crops, but if the germplasm of the hybrids is very tolerant to the salt, it might be very likely to be very tolerant to osmotic stress caused by the drought. So it's very important. So this is my babies that I created for sunflower. There are some inbred lines from some wild species from USDA. Another and last topic is genomic sequencing. Okay, it's a matter of cost. Yes, it's a matter of cost. But I'm thinking now we're trying to recreate some article about how to, because in order to find the best primer when you're using in your breeding program, you have to test it. But if you do sequencing and you know the DNA, basically you can predict which primer are the best. So in this context, genome sequencing can actually make a difference to predict from a large amount of primers which are the best for your breeding program. I want to thank you, my university, the Szeged Biological Center, and also the company that we are working with for the breeding program. Thank you.
Vă mulțumim, domnule inginer, pentru interesanta prezentare.
Thank you, Dr. Engineer, for your interesting presentation.
Mulțumim din nou tinerilor cercetători pentru prezentările lor valoroase și interesante, care au subliniat faptul că procesul de cercetare este în continuă evoluție, accelerat de tranziția către o economie rezilientă, verde și digitală, într-o societate inclusivă.
We thank the young researchers once again for their valuable and engaging presentations, which highlighted that the research process is continuously evolving, driven by the transition toward a resilient, green and digital economy in an inclusive society.
Aici se încheie prima parte a evenimentului de astăzi. Pe ecran este prezentat programul simpozionului pe secțiuni, care vor începe la orele 14 la nivelul celor 6 facultăți.
This concludes the first part of today's event. The symposium program, divided by sections, is displayed on the screen and will commence at 2 p.m. across the 6 faculties.
De asemenea, aș dori să vă mulțumesc cu deosebit respect pentru oportunitatea de a prezenta acest eveniment în calitate de student al acestei universități de prestigiu la nivel național și internațional.
Furthermore, I would like to express my profound gratitude for the opportunity to host this event as a student of this prestigious university, renowned nationally and internationally.
Vă mulțumim tuturor pentru participare și vă dorim succes la prezentări.
Thank you all for your participation and we wish you success in your presentation.